Have you ever been in this situation? You pour your heart into explaining a plan, and your boss just stares at you and asks, "So what's the point?" Or you spend time teaching a new skill, only to watch your team freeze up, not knowing where to even start. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The biggest mistake in communication isn't what you say, it's that you're explaining things the way you think, not the way your audience receives, because every brain operates on a different frequency. That's exactly what the 4MAT model is designed to solve. It's a timeless thinking framework that helps you reach 100% of your audience, turning complex ideas into something clear, memorable, and genuinely inspiring. From her observations, she synthesized the leading scientific theories of her time into what became the 4MAT framework. The model draws from three core foundations: multiple intelligences, Howard Gardner, recognizing that people have different strengths. Some are wired for language, others for logic, visual thinking, or physical movement. Left brain/right brain. The model leverages the fundamental difference between how our two hemispheres operate. The left brain favors analysis, details, and numbers. The right brain prioritizes creativity, imagery, and the big picture. Effective communication must strike a balance between both. Learning styles. McCarthy observed that people approach information in distinctly different ways. Some prefer to feel and experience things directly. Others prefer to observe and reflect before engaging. The core goal Dr. McCarthy had in mind was understanding and adaptability. For trainers, educators, and managers, 4MAT provides a roadmap to design content so that every person in the room can receive knowledge in the most natural way possible. 4MAT divides the learning journey into 4 stages, each corresponding to a different type of learner. Stage 1. Why? The first and most critical stage is answering the question, why does this matter? This is where you connect with learners who process the world through feeling and imagination. For them, knowledge only has real value when they can see a clear thread linking what they're about to learn to their actual life. Without understanding the purpose or importance of a topic, the brain simply won't open up to the dry data that follows. At this stage, learners are deeply focused on core value and personal relevance. They need a compelling reason to begin. The question constantly running through their minds is, what does this mean for me? Why should I spend my time on this? If you can help them see the full picture, the real stakes, they'll generate their own powerful internal motivation to dive in. How to do it. Instead of jumping straight into theory, open with a story, a real-life example, a personal experience that anyone can relate to. Sharing struggles, stumbles, and everyday situations breaks down the wall between speaker and listener. Ask open-ended questions that guide people to find the answer themselves. If you're teaching personal finance, don't open with formulas. Instead, ask, if you never learn to manage your money, what happens to your future plans and your family's life? Questions like that cut deep. They make people feel the gap in their knowledge, and suddenly, they're hungry for the solutions you're about to offer. Stage 2. What? Once you've helped your audience find their why, it's time to move into stage 2. Answering, what is this? This is the moment the brain starts craving concrete information, the rules, the theories, the core frameworks that build a solid knowledge structure. This stage is especially powerful for analytical learners, people who are always searching for accuracy and logic. At this point, your audience has moved past emotion. They want to go deeper. They need clear definitions, verified data, and foundational principles. The goal of the what stage is to help learners name the concepts and understand how they connect within a larger system. How to do it. Start with the basics and build up. Translate technical jargon into everyday language. Instead of just talking, use visual tools. Mind maps, comparison charts, concise bullet lists. These make information feel organized and approachable. Concrete examples act as bridges, turning abstract theory into something tangible. For the personal finance example, after the audience understands why financial management matters, this is when you introduce essential concepts: active versus passive income, the difference between needs-based and preference-based spending, and simple definitions of saving versus investing. Once these concepts are clearly laid out in sequence, learners feel confident. They have the foundation they need before taking the next step. Stage 3. How? Now we've covered the why and the what. It's time for the most practical stage of all. How do I actually do this? While the previous stages train the brain to remember, this stage trains the muscles and instincts to act. This is the stage of doing, because 1,000 words can't replace one moment of hands-on experience. Learners at this stage have little patience for long lectures. They want to know, how do I hold this pen? Where do I input this number? The defining feature here is interaction. Learners need to experiment, be allowed to fail, and most importantly, self-correct based on real experience. When they directly solve a problem, knowledge stops being a distant concept. It starts seeping into their thinking. How to do it? Step down from the podium. Become a guide, not a lecturer. Here are 3 simple ways to help your audience take action without fear. 1. Break down the process. Instead of one overwhelming task, divide the knowledge into small, manageable steps. Every completed step is a small win that builds momentum to keep going. 2. Create a simulated environment. Use scenario-based exercises or small, realistic projects. This gives learners a safe space to experiment while still experiencing the real-world value of what they're doing. 3. Give immediate feedback. Timely guidance when someone stumbles during practice is the key to keeping them from giving up and to shaping the right skills from the very start. Stage 4. If. The first 3 stages helped you master what already exists. Stage 4 is where you make it your own. Learners in this group have sharp critical thinking and a deep hunger for innovation. They're not satisfied with just following instructions. They're always asking, what if I tried this differently? For them, learning is exploration. They love testing different possibilities, aren't afraid of mistakes, and are constantly looking for ways to improve what's already there. How to do it? Your role here is to be an inspirer, not a director. The goal is to give learners the confidence to step outside the comfort zone of ready-made instructions. Place learners in complex, high-stakes case studies that force them to apply everything they've learned to analyze and craft their own solutions. Or create discussion spaces. Group sessions and collaborative projects are the perfect collision point for ideas. Peer pushback helps learners spot their blind spots and sharpen their creative thinking. Once you understand the 4 stages of the 4 MAT cycle, you'll see it's a universal key that can unlock high performance across many areas of life. Designing lessons and workshops. Instead of just talking about what you know, use 4 MAT to build a roadmap, sparking curiosity, delivering precise knowledge, guiding hands-on practice, and encouraging creative ownership. Your workshops and courses become dynamic, multi-dimensional, and nobody gets left behind halfway through. Optimizing e-learning. In a digital environment where attention is constantly under attack, applying 4 MAT ensures your lesson structure stays coherent. When every module directly answers the needs of a specific type of learner, comprehension and retention increase dramatically. Understanding yourself as a learner. Beyond teaching others, 4 MAT is a powerful tool for self-awareness and self-improvement. Once you understand the model, you'll start noticing your own patterns. Are you naturally drawn to the why questions? Or are you someone who just wants to jump straight to how? Recognizing your natural learning tendency takes the pressure off when you encounter methods that don't suit you and helps you find the most comfortable path to new knowledge. You can also redesign how you learn entirely. Instead of rote memorization, build your own learning roadmap. Hit a dry, lifeless topic, actively search for why it matters, or find a practical exercise to try immediately. This active approach helps you move faster, understand deeper, and remember longer because your brain has fully experienced all four dimensions of knowledge. Practical example: learning public speaking. Why? Ask yourself, if you became a confident speaker, how would your career advancement and income change? Once you find that motivation, learning stops feeling like a burden. What? Study the core principles. Three-part speech structure, body language. Organize them into a mind map. How? Jump in and do it. Stand in front of a mirror. Record a 5-minute talk on your phone. If. Put yourself in hard situations. What if the projector breaks? What if the audience asks a brutal question? Working through these scenarios means you'll own your presentation and be ready for anything. To turn this model into a reflexive skill in your communication, keep these principles close. Know your audience first. Before you say anything, take a moment to read the room. Are these people who love stories, who trust numbers, who just want to get their hands dirty? Understanding their style lets you tune your frequency to match theirs. Always start with why. Never rush to solutions or data before your audience can feel the relevance of the problem in their own lives. That's the gateway. Skip it, and you lose them. Then build the what clearly and systematically before guiding them into specific action steps. Structure earns trust. Finally, always make space for creativity. Let your audience question, experiment, and expand beyond what they've just learned. When knowledge stops being a rigid template and becomes something people can apply flexibly to their reality, that's when your communication has truly succeeded. By repeating this cycle consistently, you don't just help others understand, you continuously upgrade your own depth of thinking and emotional intelligence as a communicator.